We're back! What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to Fix It Garage and the Subaru Beetle. Many of you may not know why I was gone, but the main reason why I took some time off is actually for my mental health. I needed some time away from having a camera in my face. I know my uploads were getting a little bit irregular. That was just due to not having the motivation to put a camera in my face. Everyone goes through it from time to time. So I needed to step away, have some me time, but I didn't just sit around and do nothing. We have made a lot of progress on the Subaru Beetle, and this video today, guys, I'm gonna show you everything that we've done while I was gone away from filming. And trust me, there has been a lot of progress. So first off, right here behind me, there's a bunch of brand new parts, but we're not gonna talk about those today. You guys can kind of see over there that maybe some of the stuff, but we're not gonna talk about any of that. We're not gonna talk about the mess in the shop because right now, everything below the camera is a big mess. I need to clean up before we actually start doing even more work on the car, but I've been a little busy trying to get some of these small nitty-gritty projects done that really just weren't worth making a video for. So all this stuff is to come. This stuff, a lot of it will be on camera and filmed. Some of this stuff has to wait till the engine comes back out, which is gonna be very soon. We're almost ready to pull that engine back out for final assembly. That's how much progress has been made while I was away from filming. The first thing that you guys are gonna notice between the last video and this one is the taillights are back in. Yes, guys, these are now wired and installed final, so those are good to go. The only thing left to hook up are these ground wires right here, which I'll be doing when the engine's out of the car and I can make a couple serious chassis grounds under here, along with a battery disconnect that's gonna go right in there above the fuel filter. Speaking of fuel filter, we've got the two fuel lines run. We've got our feed and return fuel lines ran. This needs to be mounted up here still with a few zip ties. That's coming, but it's in, it's routed. These are ready to be connected to the engine. The alternator is in, another project done. Only thing left on this is to hook this up to the starter. But we have over here, we have our wires that run back here to the PCM that need to run to the PCM and to the tach gauge. So we know if we have oil pressure and if we're charging the battery. We also have the signal that's gonna go to the voltage regulator as well. Something that we did on this area that was a little different than the rest of the car is I'm using the Deutsch Connectors. I have built my first set of Deutsch Connectors for not only this, but also for this. So here's another set of Deutsch connector for the vehicle speed sensor. This is going to give a signal to the PCM. This is not going to display on the gauge, but this is going to give a signal to the PCM so the PCM can adapt for engine load while moving. So there has been plenty of progress made back here while I was away from filming. As you guys can clearly tell here, we've gotten quite a bit of work done. There's still a little bit left to go, and there's still a cooling system missing, obviously. That is coming very shortly. I will explain more about that in the next video when we start building that cooling system. So up front is where a lot of our progress has happened. You guys will notice we've got a radiator fan. We picked up a Spall fan with a really high CFM. That is going to work. I've got a rubber hose here that's kind of being test fitted for the cooling system. More on that later. And the radiator is still fully mounted from the last time. We haven't done anything with that yet. That's gonna be changing soon. But the other thing you guys can see is, look at this. We've got wires routed here for the power wire. We've got grounds built over there and on the other side. The headlights, the marker lights are now reinstalled. If we swing the camera around, look at all of this. This is now all done. This is bolted in final assembly. All of the power wires are bolted in final assembly. We've got a main chassis ground right here. I've got the wiper motor hooked up, the radio hooked up, the gauges, everything is now reinstalled. All of it's back in. Gauges, switches, knobs, everything all reinstalled here. So this is a huge step in the wiring. The underhood wiring, other than the radiator fan, is 100% complete, barring any testing, which testing is gonna be happening very shortly. But I needed to get it all routed, and I followed all the directions from American Auto Wire, as well as from the Bussaroo and the ETMs that I've used to wire up the Subaru stuff. So everything should be good. I think we're gonna throw like 2 fuses in somewhere. But other than that, all of this stuff is wired and good to go. Next stop on our work completed is the fuel pump. So as you guys can clearly see under here, we're underneath the front of the car, and we have the fuel pump routed and placed where we want it. It is currently held in with zip ties. I will probably do a fancier bracket later, but we've got it ground and power to the fuel pump. The only thing on the fuel pump that's not connected is the line from the tank to the pump. That is just kind of sitting there. We've got a fuel filter in there as well, just kind of chilling. It's all going to clear the steering rack when it's installed correctly. Right now, it's just chilling up there. That we need to drain the fuel tank for, and I'm kind of waiting on that for a nice day so I can vent the garage safely so I don't breathe in tons and tons of fuel vapors. So that is pretty much good to go. So that is the fuel pump assembly installed. And I've even got the return line in. This hose right here that kind of loops, that is the return. So the fuel return is in. One other thing that we can just cross off of the list. Up front here, you guys will see the steering wheel's installed, all the gauges and knobs and switches are installed. All of the switches and knobs are brand new. I have to install the brand new knobs on. I actually have them in a box. I'm waiting till this is closer to being done. But we've got our ignition all wired in, all good to go. So we've got a keyed ignition now, we've got a steering wheel, we've got our gauges, everything is reinstalled. He does not have a working horn, and it's gonna probably stay that way. Up next, guys, is our voltage regulator right there. It is fully installed, done and ready to go. All the wires are hooked up how they need to be. And then we have all of our wires that run right here that need to go out to the back of the vehicle. And I even did separate holes for them for each type of whatever it's for. I've got 2 that need to go to the bottom of the transmission, 3 wires for the starter, and 3 wires for the engine. And I've put them through the corresponding holes underneath the car. They're eventually going to be in a big wire loom, but right now, while I'm working on routing, they won't be. But when we pull the engine out, everything's getting loomed and electrical tape, so it looks nice and professional. Back here at our magic hole in the floor, you'll see some of that wiring coming over to where the starter will be, and the other wires running up above the transmission to go into the engine bay. Again, this will probably not be visible because I'm planning on welding in and seam sealing a little floor here with some of that spare metal that I have, just to make it so we don't get water inside the car super easily. But for now, it makes a nice little window so I can look here and I can work and I can route stuff. It makes it really easy when you have a hole in the back of your floor to work on this car. So that stuff is all done. The only thing left in this area per se is I need to put proper bolts in here to hold the PCM in. I've got some temporaries, but all this has to come back out anyways when I weld it. So not super worried, but that is one thing that needs to be done, and then the PCM will need to be plugged back in. But for now, this is perfect. I'm really happy with this. To all of my keen-eyed viewers, you will notice that most of the work that was done was electrical. I took a lot of time while I was away to finish the electrical system. A lot of that stuff it was nitty-gritty little things that probably weren't good for a YouTube video. I wanted to get that done off camera for everybody to make it so I don't have so many videos of electrical. I've already done a million electrical videos on this car, and I don't want to do a million more. So I went ahead and I finished it off camera, took care of it. The fuel system I also took care of off camera because where I was having to work, it would have been really tough to get a camera in there along with me trying to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna end up hooking up that other fuel line off camera, but there is still one major system that we haven't done yet, and that would be the cooling system. We have our coolant pipes and our hoses here so we can make 98% of the cooling system. I need 2 more fittings, which I'm gonna explain in the next video why I need them. I'm not gonna tell you everything, but we do have a lot of what we need to build the cooling system. I can get it pretty much mocked up to the point where I can pull the engine out while I'm waiting on those parts, fully mount the cooling system, finish mounting everything, and that way then when we put the engine back in, we're gonna be ready to fire this thing up and take it for a drive. That is all the updates on the Subaru Beetle. Now, I have one other thing I want to tell you guys. First of all, I want to thank everyone who has supported this channel from the beginning. I want to thank all of you guys who respected my decision to step away for a little bit to clear my head and get excited to film videos for you guys. While I was away, I missed all of you. I missed making videos, I missed posting them, seeing the comments, and hearing about what you guys think about these videos. It does truly mean a lot to me when you guys post comments. It motivates me to come back out here and keep thrashing on these cars to try to get them done. Once this thing's done, hopefully we'll have another project lined up. I'm kind of working some things out. We'll see. That is gonna do it for today, guys. I wanna thank everyone for watching. If you guys like what you see, don't forget to smash that like button, show your support for the channel, and help out that YouTube algorithm. Leave some comments down below on what you guys think of the wiring and the fuel system. I know the fuel system, there are better ways to do it, but this will work for now. We can make changes in the future. And if you guys wanna see more big projects like this, let me know by clicking that subscribe button. That tells me that I'm making the right kind of videos. So with that being said, guys, I wanna thank all of you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.